Hey, it's Tony with another Type 5 how-to. If you just finished setting up your 12-foot Intex pool with well water and you're wondering how you're going to get it to go from this to this, stick around and I'll show you what you need to get your pool up and running for the first time.
To start, I want to preface that I've been filtering the iron out of this water for probably 2 days now. If I had a stronger pump or had upgraded the pump that came with the pool, it would probably work a lot faster, but we're making do with what we have here for the time being. As you can see, I've added these microfiber towels with rubber bands around the two inlets. They don't block the water flow too much, so I'm not worried about burning up the pump, but they do catch a lot of the iron, if you can see here. I've also added 3 socks attached with the rubber band to the outlet hose. All right. And to attach this, you want to unscrew the cover for the outlet hose and attach the stopper to keep the water from spilling out before you disconnect the hose. And then you'll disconnect it. I've looped it up here with a zip tie to keep it in place. And then you'll just let this run all day long. All right, so like I said, it's been about 2 days. I've been running this filter setup all day long. I've probably taken off these rags and socks and have rinsed them out with the hose maybe about 5 times now. I've switched out the filter and rinsed that off as well. So I'll show you what I'm doing to rinse these off, but then we can focus a little bit more on the actual chemicals. Just be aware, while you're having a lot of iron in the pool, it will tend to eat up a lot of chlorine if you're trying to keep up with the chlorine levels. So I really recommend trying to get rid of the iron first before we move on and try to focus on balancing our chemicals and go from there.
Here's a pro tip if you're looking to really speed up the process. Instead of attaching the socks to the return hose of the pump, I zip tied them to the outlet of a sump pump that I use to drain my hot tub. This sump pump will pump 5 times the amount of water through it in an hour compared to the pool pump. Just make sure to keep the pump upright and plug it in after setting it down into the water and let it go to work.
After about 2 hours of just running the sump pump, this pool is now crystal clear. I'd highly recommend, if you have one of those lying around, make use of it. It'll speed up this iron removal process a whole lot faster. All right, let's head inside and see what chemicals we need to use to get the rest of this pool set up. All right, so we're back inside and we're going to be taking a look at some of the chemicals that we need to get this pool finalized. One thing that I do want to preface is that most of the pool chemicals are rated as a measurement for 10,000 gallons. When we're dealing with the 12-foot Intex pool, it holds roughly 1,700 gallons. So the magic number for our calculations is whenever you see a measurement that's rated for 10,000 gallons, just divide that amount by 6, and that's what you'll need to put into the pool. So the first thing that we'll have to do is take a look at one of these test strips. Now you'll want to adjust for your alkalinity first, and then your pH, and then finally your chlorine. Now, when we go to adjust for our chlorine, we'll actually want to put in a stabilizer to help that chlorine stay into the pool. That stabilizer process could be done at any point, so I actually just kind of recommend to do that while we're filtering out the iron. I've gone ahead and picked up this stabilizer from my local pool store, and based on its measurements, I'll need to put in about 9 ounces, which turns into 6 quarter cup measurements. So I've measured that out here. I'm going to add that in a little bit later. And one thing that you'll notice, a theme here for our 12-foot pool, is that this quarter cup measuring scooper is going to be your best friend. All right. So to adjust our alkalinity, I have a total alkalinity increaser. If you have to increase that, according to the label here, 1 shade on our test strip, or 40 parts per million, we'll need about 1 pound of this alkalinity increaser. which is about 6.5 of these 1/4 cup scoops. All right. I didn't need to actually increase my alkalinity at all. As it turns out, my pH was just a little bit high. So I went ahead and added 1 scoop of pH minus to my pool to get that adjusted. And then to move on to the chlorine, you want to take a look at some liquid chlorine shock to start. Now in this case, I measured out 16 ounces to super chlorinate the water, all right, just as an initial amount that'll kill any bacteria that you're dealing with. I have a liquid measuring cup here that's for 8 ounces. So I've added 2 of these to the pool, and that'll give us a base level of chlorine to start. You'll have to wait for that to come down, and then for chlorine maintenance, you want to add some tabs into a chlorine floater that you can just have float around in your pool for the rest of the time. All right. You want to estimate maybe 3 to 4 tabs, possibly a week, depending on how much pool usage you're getting. All right. So if you have a lot of kids in the pool in and out every week, you might have to adjust that. Again, these test strips are going to be your friend. All right. So use them. Again, a 1/4 cup of each one of these pH plus and minus to adjust a shade. You may want to adjust from there, maybe a half or a full 1/4 cup. But that's going to be it. All right. So that'll wrap it up for this video. Hope you guys have learned something. And again, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.